The economy of Germany has changed. If you plan to start a business or a small startup, this video will go into details what you need to know, what changes are happening, and where are opportunities. Let's talk about it now. Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to the channel AskMeStartup, where we talk about startups, small businesses, and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever I'm uploading new content. If you're into startups, if you plan to start a small business, please feel free to download my free startup checklist, link in the description below. Now today's topic is a follow-up to a first video I've done on Germany. The economy of Germany has changed, but what does it actually mean? Now, I'm not quite sure if you are aware or not, but Germany has voted last autumn and it's a new government in place. So we got Social Democrats, the Green Party and the Liberal Party all together forming the new government of Germany. That of course implies that there will be new roles and new plans established within the country in order to foster the next generation's growth, with of course a big focus on climate change and sustainability. And all of these things become more and more important. Then we're having a very terrible war in Europe, which has changed the security landscape for Germany dramatically. That actually causes the current government to raise the amount of money they spend per annum from 1.2% of GDP up to 2%. That is a big change and has never been seen since the 1990s. This, of course, implies that there is huge opportunity for startups, specifically in the military and cybersecurity space. Hence, what we see now is more and more startups being founded in Germany on the IT sector. But let's go first and take a look on what really is the situation in Germany. Now, if you look on a normalized level over the last decade, we can see that Germany, although being on a high level, has not really changed the amount of patents filed. Why is that relevant? Well, if you look at patents, they are somewhat a description of tomorrow's business, because what you predict today, hopefully will be a product tomorrow. But Germany isn't doing that great. It's actually declining in the number of patents. If you look at that graph in more detail, you can also see another thing interestingly happen. Industrial design has more or less collapsed, but trademarks keep rising, and that is in line with GDP. Why is it that trademarks are rising? That's a clear explanation. There must be something that doesn't require a patent, but rather trademark. In other words, it will be a software-driven economy we're heading to. And if we look at the statistics, and these are statistics taken from the WIPO database, so they're really official numbers, we can see another very important factor declining, and that is the utility model applications. Now, the utility model, just so that it is clear for you, has been the benchmark of German industry. This meant that if you manufactured products, something you can really touch, they had to be protected, and that's what most people file for, not a patent, but an industry utility model. Now, these are on the decline since a decade, and that is clearly one of the strongest signals that the type of economy, or the economy as such, is shifting towards different jobs in the future. Now, what are these jobs? Now, the biggest number of startups we've seen these days are software-related startups, which isn't maybe as a big surprise, but it is a major shift for a country that is actually manufacturing cars and has a very well-refined industrial network on mechanical engineering. Software, yeah, we got SAP, but after that, things are now moving in this direction, and that's what we see in the numbers. And we also are aware that Germany is very far behind, so you should be aware of this as well. What I mean is, if we compare the potential of industry jobs or startup jobs of Germany versus Sweden versus the UK versus Israel and the US, you can really see Germany's way behind of the potential other countries are showing to us. That implies no matter what startup you plan to do, no matter what business, you have a huge opportunity in Germany because it is still lacking so much behind that there's always a market to be taken. By now, you might be thinking, okay, wait a minute, I think Germany is the right place for me to go and start a business, but is there a startup visa? The quick answer is, no, there isn't. The long and real answer is, there is a self-employment visa. So they just don't call it startup visa, but it is for startups. Whatever. If you plan to start a business in Germany, you can apply for that visa. And they require you to have a business plan, and then they're looking into like how sustainable is your business idea. They're looking into your business experience. They're looking into the amount of capital which is required and you can provide, and how much capital is actually spent by this business in the neighboring businesses. So how good is it for the local economy? They're also looking on the regional impact and on your contribution to research and innovation in Germany. Now that seems like complicated, and I'm pretty sure it is, but at the end, that is the same thing you would anyway need to do if you start a small business or a startup, because you want to have a proper plan and a proper idea. Who are your customers? What are you planning to sell? And what is your experience associated with it? The only thing is, if you're above 45, you also need to provide the conditions for your pensions. You mean, in other words, they want to make sure you have the proper funds to sustain yourself after the fact you retire. So, is that a good place now? I can only say one thing to you. I've been born in Germany. I've lived there for 20 plus years, and it is the largest economy of them all. And if you look at the startup hubs in Europe, you can already see that Germany has two of the biggest ones, which are Berlin and Munich. If you're interested in the startup hubs, just click the video up here. And I do believe that this is a great opportunity for anybody starting a proper business. And since you're in Germany already with the largest economy, if you make it in this country, it's not a problem to start in the other countries as well. Now, you might be asked, okay, what are the pros and cons in Germany? I've made a video a time ago, and please take a look up here on this video, because I really think this is important for you to understand the situation Germany is in. This is my short take on what is actually happening in Germany and how the changes evolved over time. What are your takes? What are your questions about? Just drop a comment down below. I would be happy to discuss and answer them to you. If you made it so far in the video, please subscribe and push the notification bell, because it really, really helps this channel to grow. I thank you for your attention, and I'm going to see you next time.